And we're live.
If you're gonna check one out, think it's that.
When you go to my channel and watch it, go to the most recent one. Don't go to like fucking episode 8 or something and start there. You gotta. It's just
that was a bad day.
Yeah, episode 8. I'm just picking one out of the air, but just go to the recent ones because it improves every time. It's kind of like PKA. It's like a solid trend up over the years. So it's a little weird to go back and listen to the first episodes of it and be like, oh, this is so stupid. I'm an asshole. Like, why did I do this? Why I did it by myself. It is so hard to do podcasts by yourself. And
You did a podcast by yourself?
You just got to ramble.
He does.
I like that. Bill Burr's is excellent. I love Bill Burr's. I love when he gets off on some tangent. Kind of like what we just did. We looked at your messy room there and we saw that panel, and then it became a whole like sensory deprivation CIA dark project, Cold War kind of Stranger Things
stuff. As soon as I
stuff.
added Melissa, it became a million times easier because you have someone to bounce off of. But yeah, check that out if you want.
I think I'm the only guy that doesn't like Bill Burr's podcast. And the thing is, I used to love it. I started off thinking that just everything that came from that guy's mouth was brilliant. And the way he says it, right? Sometimes he has funny things to say. Sometimes he has that other skill where he can say things that aren't funny in such a funny way, they become funny. But now, usually when I listen to him, I get a segment. I don't listen to him like every Monday all the way through, but they'll be like, hey, I went to a UFC fight. This was my experience. Or, hey, I just did this, and this is what I thought about that. I just got into an argument with this guy. Here's my side of it. The guy can't stay on topic. The guy he goes all over the place. He digresses into craziness. And it's like, dude, I'm here to know what you think about this. And some reason I care about it. And you're talking about shoes. You
can't go into the Bill Burr podcast thinking that he's going to really elucidate some facts or opinion that you just couldn't, articulate. Like, you're not going to listen to it the same way you listen to a political commentator and be like, oh, wow, that's a really poignant way of thinking about it. Like, he says stupid shit and you laugh because it's stupid and he knows it's stupid.
I hear where you're coming from, but think about the great stories that we've heard, right? Like Jim Jeffries took his handicapped friend to a brothel, right? Or The Machine, right? You guys know these stories.
I like Jim Jeffries, with the 2 chicks and the cocaine story better.
Okay. Well, imagine if he digressed for 8 to 12 minutes about the shoes he was wearing, and you would have his typical Monday podcast.
Kind of humor, though.
Yeah, good and
if
bad.
If Bill Burr just told you the story, you wouldn't laugh at all because it's not a funny story. What's funny is the way his mind just delves and dives, and all of a sudden he'll be upset with the people who work at he'll be, let me tell you about Adidas real quick. They're the real cocksuckers, and you're like, oh, tell me more about Adidas. I don't really even care about that run you went on. And Woody's like, wait, you went for a run? Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's gonna tell you. So yeah, my run wrapped up. I was crazy sweaty, and I fucked my girlfriend sweaty. What can I say? That's what I do.
It's fucking
sweaty.
Because the same thing happens to be on this show. It'll be like, all right, everybody, let's talk about, I don't know, the time we were most scared or some stupid fucking topic like that. 2 or 3 of us will say it, and then it won't get around to the last one because it just flowed to something. And I'm like, no, that sucks. I really wanted to hear Hitch's most scared moment, but it just goes away.
Sometimes I don't mind when that happens because it'll be a question that I don't know.
Sometimes.
And Woody will give an answer, and then Kyle will give one. In the middle of Kyle's answer, I'll go, oh, okay, I can capitalize on that, and we'll move in a different direction, because my answer would be shit.
Or 2 out of 3 of us have a wealth of knowledge and experience about this one thing. Woody's like, oh, let me tell you the story about the time I was in LA. And I'm like, well, let me tell you about the story about the time I was in LA. And it was like, I've never been to LA. There's no point in Taylor jumping in at the end because you know what I mean?
Well, that's a tailor-made example, but that was a tailor-made example, huh?
It's like 3 months in one.
But yeah, I think it speaks to how we're wired a little bit differently and what we're looking for from storytelling. I don't want a guy to go off on some topic and forget the primary subject here. To me, that's just bad storytelling. That's disorganized thought processes.
Different kind. I think it's a different kind because it's about what's funny about the story. If sometimes just the individuals and the happenings within the timeline of the story are what make it funny. Guy plus girl plus mud puddle plus dog shit pissing on his leg equals funny. But sometimes that's not true. Sometimes it's more funny to stop and talk about, I don't know, the chivalry in general at that moment and start going off on chivalry instead of telling the story about the dog and the girl in the puddle.
Yeah, I would want completion and then next topic. not fucking insert. My phone. Not this
I
like.
would not do it
I
like
see.
that.
So you're the Terminator of storytelling.
No, well, I want them
Next
sequentially.
subject.
Right? I even when I eat my dinner, right? This side, main dish, that side, right? Hitch is with me here.
Yeah, that's something I don't do podcasts, so I'm just learning. Like I'm just sitting back and learning all of you guys' knowledge of podcasts.
Well, you've come to the wrong place to learn about podcasts.
Well, we're about 8 minutes in, so we should be wrapping up our knowledge on podcast segment. You know, the key is to get on the internet and spout off about things you don't fully understand, and then have nuanced positions about things that don't matter, and that will
literally
be divisive.
So you're
So
I don't know what you're talking. So you eat your food like it's a homework assignment where you're like, first I do math and then history and then literature or whatever it is. Like you don't just kind of eat around.
frequently
always-
I do. Yeah. It's not every time. Like I don't like I'm not stuck about it, but yeah. And oftentimes like sometimes I take heat for it. People be like, dude, you have some potatoes. You know what? I will get to the potatoes when I'm goddamn ready for the potatoes. I'm working on the peas right now. You know, I don't have to have all that shit on my plate at once.
Do you count them when you eat them?
Peas? No.
Yeah.
Only
That
eats
would be
peas,
loony.
not-
Yeah. That would be crazy.
That would be loony. Yeah, that's where loony begins. No, but yeah, there's probably other people out there the same way. We're like, yeah, I like to eat one of these things at a time. You finish it, then you move to the next one. And then there are some, I'll admit, that are meant to be combined.
Sometimes you have to do that because like you have to panic eat foods because some of them don't hold their temperature well. So like if I've got a baked potato there, I know I can wait an hour and a half and that thing is still going to be fucking hot. But if I've got some like mushrooms or something, like I got to immediately start wolfing those down or they're going to turn into cold kind of sludge in about 10 minutes.